Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to find all the pieces of this parabola. So again, your roots are here where the parabola crosses the x-axis. So this would be your roots. Well, these would be your roots. And you know that is 3, 0 and negative 1, 0. I'm just going to label them in here so next we can get to it and we'll see it in the table as well. This right here, there's the vertex up at top. I'm going down in order of the vocabulary, which we said is also a maximum because it opens downward. Or if you notice, that has a negative sign in front of the x squared term. Okay, so we did both of those. And here we know that is going to be 1, 2. How do I know that? Because it's only 1 over and up 2. So just because I could see it. I know I covered the numbers up with the boxes, but so that's 1, 2. Your axis of symmetry is going to be the line that you draw down the center. And this is going to kind of mess it up, but it goes right through the middle. That's your axis of symmetry. All right, and remember, your axis of symmetry is an x equals equation, and it's always the x value of your vertex. Now, my vertex is 1, 2, so I know my vertex is going to be 1. Now, how am I getting these numbers? I'm looking at the graph. I'm not even looking at the table anymore. I'm going to show you how to look at the table and find it too, but you need to be able to use all these resources. And behavior, yes, opens down. Your y-intercept is over here because it crosses the y-axis, and that's at 0, 1.5 because it's halfway up between 1 and 2. Your points of symmetry are any of these points that are opposite each other. Your roots, like I said, are very fancy points of symmetry, but they're roots. And then this is your, this is your end behavior. I forgot to put that in here, which is end behavior opens down. Okay, so now let's get to the table. So this table is going to be a little funky because we have a fraction in there. So I'm actually going to use, I'm not going to use alpha y equals just because I don't like the way it looks. So I'm going to put in the equation negative 1 divided by 2. You can always do that. X minus 1 squared plus 2. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because when I go to the table, I want it to look like that. Because I don't like the way that the fractions bump out the values, okay? So remember, we want to always include our roots and our vertex. Now, our vertex we said was 1, 2 from the graph. Now you can even see it in your table. It's actually in the middle of the table already. So we know the vertex is 1, 2. I'm just going to go right to I'm going to skip the decimals and get the whole numbers, okay? So I'm going to skip over 0, 1.5. I mean, that is our y-intercept. So it's important, but for graphing purposes, not too much. You can always go through it. I'm going to go to negative 1, 0, which again is our root. And then 3, 0, another root, which we already said. And then I'm going to go up to negative 3, 6. And then 5, 6. And I could have included some of the decimals there because I'm not going to go. I mean, I guess I could do negative 7, negative 5, negative 15, but I can't even fit that on my graph. So it's supposed to be a 15. And then that would be up to from here, 7, negative 15. So parabolas are definitely patterns. You could see. I knew that they were all skipping by 2's in the x, so I knew it had to be 7. I didn't have to look at my table. All right, so anyway, your roots. We already wrote them as a coordinate, but now I want you to remember that you can write your roots as answers, 2 answers. X equals negative 1 and x equals 3, like we did when we were solving quadratics. Our vertex, we said, was 1, 2, which is our maximum, and our axis of symmetry, like I said, is the x value from our vertex, which is x equals 1. And our y-intercept from the table was 0, 1.5, comma 1.5, which we already said in the graph. Okay, so that's what you just need to know, how to find these numbers either from a table or from a graph. or both, okay? But you can't do this just by from the equation yet. We haven't talked about how to do it algebraically, which we will in the future, okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Delta Math assignment and try that to the best of your ability, okay? Because these are really important vocabulary components that you need to know for your future in geometry and Algebra 2. Okay, message me if you have any questions.